Do conversions really work? And what do they actually mean for selling cars? What's going on, everybody? David Feldman-Makrias back with you again. And today I want to cover a pretty important topic, especially for digital advertising and anything with your website. It's all about conversions, or what's now called key events in Google Analytics 4. What is that? What does it mean? And how do we check if they actually work? So basically, I've covered a lot of this in other videos, but a quick summary: a conversion, or now called key event, is an actionable item someone takes on your website. From clicking on new inventory, to clicking on a vehicle picture, to submitting a form, to calling from your website. Fuck. Calling from your website is another one too. Calling from your website is another one. So there's all these different action items that someone can do on your website, and it's a little bit overwhelming to understand all the differences. So one thing I really like about an actual competitor of mine, Brian Pash, and Pash Digital, or PCG Digital, actually spearhead a couple of years ago these things called ASC conversions. So what does that mean? ASC conversions, or the Automotive Standards Council, was developed specifically for analytics and now for GA4, Google Analytics 4, to tell us what all this gobbledygook means. So rather than go through all the different pages of this, because it's like a lot of pages, I'm going to give you the short bullet points. When we scroll here, these are the event names that we have. We have stuff like com engagement, click to call, element configuration, form submission, video call, all this different stuff, right? But these guys right here are all the different actionable items that we want to track on the website, because they're really important to actually selling cars. Now, the ones that are at the most bottom of the funnel, you'll start to look at and see ASC form submissions. So when someone actually submits a form, ASC com submissions, that means when someone chats. Let's see, ASC retail process, maybe. The few I'm listing out now are oh, here's another one, ASC click to call, when someone actually calls. Those few are the hard conversions, or hard key events. Those are the ones that we want to get the most of. But all the rest of them, soft conversions or soft key events, are actually ones that we want to get more of too, but they're not necessarily leading to a car sale right that second. So someone, as an example, clicking on a CTA interaction, that's someone clicking on a button. So if I go to a website here, I don't handle Hill or Ford, so I'm going to use them as an example. If I go to Hill or Ford here and I click, contact us, that little click, not that I submitted information, but that little click actually is a CTA interaction defined by ASC specifications. I like using ASC specifications because they're pretty industry accepted for the most part, and it gives us a baseline so we can all talk in the same language. If you're getting other vendors saying that they have their own conversions and events that they create, that's fine, but you just have to have a lot of trust in them that they're doing the right thing. That's all. So I like using this industry accepted conversion nomenclature and properties just for, standardizing what's happening in the automotive. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you an example of how to make sure these conversions work. I'm going to interchange them, called conversions and key events, because they're synonymous in Google Analytics, but I'll still use the word conversion and key events interchangeably. So I'm going to go through an example of actually like trying to see yourself if these actually work, what they mean, and where you can expect them from. So let's do that right now. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new browser, and I'm going to look up Tag Assistant, and then I'm going to click on Google Tag Assistant. Tag Assistant basically allows us to have a visual access into what's happening on the back end of the website. So note, there's a couple restrictions here. First off, you have to have a Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics property or Google Ads ID somewhere on the website, and you have to be logged into that account in order to see it. This is not something where you can go on other people's websites and actually just see, all their different tags. It doesn't work like that, at least from the view that we have from the public. So what you'll want to do is you want to make sure you're logged into the Google account that has the analytics open for that specific store you're looking at, or it has to have some sort of Google Ads property or Google Analytics property that it's associated with your account. A little bit technical, but just note if you're looking at your website, make sure you're logged in also to your analytics. It should work out pretty easily from then. And if you have any questions on this step, feel free to comment me. I can help guide you in the right direction. So once we look this up, we're going to sign into Tag Assistant by clicking this button. I have a few Tag Assistants popped up because I look at a lot of car dealers' analytics, and I'm logged into a lot of things, so you might see some blurring. But the next thing I'm going to do is go to Add a Domain. When I click Add a Domain, it's going to ask me to type in your website URL. Enter your URL to your site to debug all the Google tags on that domain. Debug information will only be visible in this web browser. And again, you have to be logged in to the appropriate analytics to see access. Okay, so I'm currently in the analytics or the Tag Assistant window right now. Note that there's a bunch of Google Ads tags that Tag Assistant has identified to be on the back end of the website. That's usually pretty common with car dealers, even though it's not supposed to be that way. There's just a lot of vendors, and they all need their own tag when they really don't. So now this is saying, okay, this GTM is not enabled for debugging. You do not have access to this container. Contact an administrator for the account to request access. So this is what I was saying. You have to have access or be logged in to the one that you want to view. So here's the thing. When I go to that Hiller Ford here, I will not be able to see Hiller Ford's back end of their website. But what I am going to do is I do have another dealer that is on a dealer.com platform. So the website works the same way. So I'll be able to show you in my Tag Assistant what it'll look like when you do each item on a dealer.com website such as Hiller. So that way I keep my client anonymous, and then you guys get the insight of what you need to see. So let's do that right now. I'm back in Tag Assistant, and I'm going to get this set up so you can see it. So now I'm actually selected in the right analytics profile that I have access to. And now I'll see on this left side all these different things from 1 to 28. And these are all the different back-end things happening on the website just when the website loads. Note, I didn't click any buttons or do anything to the site, and I'm mirroring what I'm doing to Hiller Ford. I have not clicked, scrolled, or really done anything here on this dealer.com site. So with that, with my other example that I have open, I'm mirroring. I haven't done anything. These are just all the different things that your website actually will load. They're all the back-end technical events. You notice there's different things on here like time on screen, timer, special events, container loads. Don't worry about any of that. What we're going to look for is I'm going to show you the different steps, but we're going to look for certain things within here, and they're going to be labeled that ASC, similar to what we see here, ASC underscore. So we're going to do a few event tests, and I'm going to show you how you can actually test to make sure your conversions are tracking the way they're supposed to be. Because oftentimes, especially on dealer websites, it's not always the case. So let's do something first. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to do something simple. I'm going to navigate to new inventory from the top menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Hiller Ford. I'm going to click new inventory search. I'm on desktop. And I'm going to hit new vehicles, and then it's going to load some vehicles. So let me do that on the example site so you guys can see. Cool. So now this is all loaded, and guess what? Now I'm up to 77 events happening just from that little thing. On the back end of the website, there are 77 main things happening just in a couple of clicks, from loading to link clicks to a lot of different stuff. So what I'm looking for, though, is I'm going to scroll back down here, and I want to find kind of where in this process I actually hit the thing I wanted to. So I think I was here, time on screen, 3 minutes, timer. I was mentioning that. So what did I do? I hit click. So I click this top part here, right? Click, That's one click. So that's where this first click starts. And then there's some link generic thing happening here. And then there's this thing, ASC menu interaction. So that's actually a pretty good sign, because what is this? This means I'm interacting with the menu. That's pretty cool. And by the definition of menu interaction, if I go to this form here, let's go down to ASC menu interaction. This event would be sent into GA4 when a customer engages with a menu navigation system on the dealer's website or on a third-party retailing tool. Since a specific menu choice like scheduled service can be on more than one menu tree, we added element type to show the parent tree of the menu choice. Pretty cool. So again, we don't need to get into all that nitty gritty, but we do see that I did interact with the menu. Awesome. So I hit that. I interacted with the menu. But now there's another link click, and it actually has another click here for who knows what reason. And what did I do next? I actually hit new inventory and new vehicles. So when I go up here, I should see another menu interaction because I interacted with the menu again, and then I did a link click from there. So a couple different menu interactions. So after this, I'm going to load this up, and that's when my new inventory loads, right? After I click this link click and menu interaction. Then I have all this stuff happen. I got some GA4 stuff happening. I got new SRP page view events happening. I have container loads. I have measurements. I have pixel vehicles shown. I have new page SRP view, all this different stuff. Window load, container load. Those are actually things happening from the website that are loading. So all the way up to 79 now, right? So what this means is basically, okay, I went new inventory, I hit new vehicles, and now I'm looking at all the new vehicles here. So again, I'm going to go back to my tag assistant and see what ASC items hit. And notice there's a summary tab here, hit sent. This is the summary tab of what has happened over my entire interaction. So these, will be helpful, but I still like to look in here. Notice that what happened, ASC menu interaction, we knew that happened. And it happened twice because I played with the menu twice. Page view, yes, you're always going to have an ASC page view because that's just when a page loads. That's pretty common. You'll get thousands and thousands and thousands of those. But notice, here's another ASC page view, but notice here's ASC item list page view. What is ASC item list page view? Well, if we go back to the top here, and then we go to item list page view, which is somewhere beneath the C. Where is it? Item. Here we go. List. I'm not doing something right. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, I actually found an updated doc for ASC 1.1. Don't worry about it here, but it gives an item list page view definition, which we need to see. So you'll see under event list, item list page view, derivative in addition to item ASC page view, trigger when a consumer viewed a new page with a page type item list. So an SRP, search results page. That's what this is. So now we know in our tag assistant that this item list page view makes sense because this is what we're on. It's an SRP page. So now when I hit this guy, that's going to bring me to an item page view or a VDP. So guess what? When that happens, I should also see it in my tag assistant. Two, notice that I actually generated this, and now I have in my main summary, I have now item page view, and now I'm up to 124 different things that happen just in this interaction, right? And that's why we need big servers and big stuff like that to hold memory to tell us and be able to record all the stuff that's happening, because there's a lot of website clicks all the time. I've just done like 4 or 5 in just it's 5-10 minutes. Think about all the different things we hit on a website all the time, right? So that's pretty cool. So far, so good. Now, the other one I want to test and make sure shows up is an actual button interaction or form submit. So I'm going to go through that process right now. Let's go back here and let's say I'm interested in this Ford Edge. I'm going to hit calculate payment, and I can't explore new payments, but let's see if the CTA interaction would show up. And here we go. Now we have CTA interaction as I'm doing this on my demo site. Not Hillard Ford, but again, it's a dealer.com platform, and I'm mirroring the exact same thing of what we're doing now. So this is your CTA interaction. Notice it's not an actual form submission because I did not submit a form. I can't actually. I don't want to fill out my information yet here, but it's a CTA interaction. So those are pretty valuable. That's probably the number one most valuable soft conversion there is. It's not about hard conversions all the time or hard key events. A lot of them too is soft key events. For example, if you're tracking this correctly and you find out that your campaigns generated a lot of CTA interactions, but you didn't get a lot of lead forms or you didn't get a lot of submissions, well, then that tells you that this situation here, this page, is not boding well for your customers. They're abandoning. All of your Google dollars, Facebook dollars, traditional advertising dollars is generating action towards this type of activity, but you're losing them. And that's why all these different event parameters are pretty important, especially the hard conversions or hard key events, but also the soft key events. Guys, I went through a lot today. There's even more that we could go through, but I want to stop there because I think this is pretty valuable information. It's also pretty overwhelming, but this is what's going to help make the difference. If you have these standard events set up and they are tracking them correctly and are feeding them into your advertising campaigns, especially your digital advertising campaigns, using Google Analytics 4 as the source of truth, or at least your benchmark, then you'll be able to see what type of ROI truly you're getting from your advertising campaigns, and you'll be able to see, where can you make improvements or where are you losing people in your marketing funnel very easily and succinctly. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. This is David Feldman-Makrias, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Let me know in the comments if you like this.